Good evening, YouTube. I was just thinking before I came here, I am the only person, besides one other girl actually, that I will just come online in whatever fashion I'm in. Usually I like to get a little ready to come online, but this is not about that. What we are going through is very serious business. So to me, I just feel like I know when there were people that I liked listening to came on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what's going on with them. I don't care if they're upset. I forgive them everything. I want to hear what they have to say. I appreciate them. So hopefully it's the same. I feel like I look like a rabbi right now. If it's not me in my little rabbi hat, but it is what it is. Okay, so what I have to talk about tonight. So tonight's live is called The Voice of God. And when these things are on my heart, when these things are on my heart to talk about, I feel like it's because somebody needs to hear it, but sometimes I'm the one that needs to hear it, to be honest with you. So I wanted to talk about faith. Let me do it in a different way today. Sorry, I'm going through a little bit of I don't know what to call it. I think it's I think it's a ritual. We're doing a ritual right now. Sitting right in the middle, adjusting to some things. Getting used to some things right now. So bear with me in my voice. My message tonight is called The Voice of God. Many of us have stories about how God swooped in to rescue us throughout our lives. Some of these stories are so unique, even an unbeliever might have a challenge trying to explain it away, because that's what people often try to do, is they try to explain away how God's been in someone's life. But God is not just in your life. God, there's a feeling that you get as well. God makes it undeniable that it's God who's taking care of you. I myself have a few stories of those myself. Some of them I've talked about online. For many, many years, God has been in the background of all our lives, turning situations in our favor, sending us opportunities, opening doors that should have been shut, quietly and never demanding attention, never micromanaging us, never being an oppressive force, demanding of us anything, freely helping and loving us. All of us have made mistakes in our past. We have lived life like anyone else, just experiencing life and having, what they call a life experience, right? God never jumped ahead to save us from ourselves. God just saved us. So God didn't save us on the condition that we do anything. God didn't demand any promises, nothing. God just saved us and let us continue on our path. And we may have lived lives, some of us, or we may have some things in our past that we would think, or people might say, well, that's not very godlike. But you know what? we're allowed to have a human experience, and we have. The experiences in the last few years have been surreal, weird. It's been beautiful and a hope, but also recently, and I think eventually for a lot of us, tarot readers included, we find out this relationship, as in our relationship with God, has been hijacked or intercepted, is a better word. We recognize illusions, some of us, if we are lucky, and obviously it will hurt. It will hurt. This manipulation is coupled with crown and third eye attacks, rituals, and spell work. This was done specifically to make you doubt your connection with God, and it can be hurtful for sure, because people want you to think that God is not real and God's not really there. And then they'll also say things like, because they believe God's not real, they think we're pretending, and they think we're really like casting spell work. But they also know that we're not. We don't know how to do that stuff, and this is why they kind of look at us and look down on us in a sense. Like we're just looking at very basics, and not about spell work, but spirituality in general. So this relationship being intercepted is painful. I'm not gonna lie. I cried about this. One of the few things I cried about. This one was so, I couldn't believe that it would go this far. I mean, it's gone so far, but I mean, maybe it's my respect for spirituality that I feel like there's a line you don't cross. But I mean, it's happened to myself, a number of us, and I know more people that I think maybe they might wake up at some point and realize they've been being manipulated for quite some time. I want to reassure you that God is real. God doesn't need a voice to guide your life. God doesn't need anything from you to assist you, to wake you up, or to take care of you. God is not tit for tat. God is so long-suffering that I say to myself, God has too much patience. God is not tit for tat. You have survived what no one else has. Rounds and rounds of rituals, spell work, and God has still secured your future, taken care of you step by step, phase by phase, ritual after ritual. You don't know. It's not one person working on you. It's not one coven working on you. It's people in different countries. And this has been for a long time. They have made so many people step up to this. If I had not, where I sit today is not where I was sitting 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I thought it was bad. Where I sit today, I can tell you, I don't think there's any stone they didn't turn over. Where I sit today, I can tell you, this is not possible to survive. I'll be honest with you, it's not. Something has to get you. Of everything that was done, this should have been done early. But to be here 2 years later, do you know how listen, do you know how many illusions were painted here? Do you know how much stuff happened? We are walking dead. Really. We're ghosts. We were supposed to be out of here already. It's not possible. Multiple people doing spell work and sex magic all together at a time. I'm telling you, we're not supposed to be here. We are evidence of God. If You don't believe in God. That's because you don't know how much things happen. Those who know everything they did, they know that there is a God. That's the truth. The people who did this believe in God. They're confused because they don't know, okay, we need to know what this person's doing in that house. They're hiding the small work somewhere. Check the dishwasher, check the fridge, check the stove. There's something. I know there's something. It's not possible. It's not possible. All the phones hacked, all the everything hacked. Can't find anything. There must be something else. Follow them everywhere. I gotta see when they go to the washroom. 2 people gotta go in there. Like, nothing. Up all night, up all day. And because people do work with spirits, they want to see a spirit. They want to see something. Okay? Willing to believe that something's protecting these people, but I need to see it. I want to see it. Where is it? There has to be something in that house protecting this person. What's going on? We have sent death spells in here. We sent demons over here. There's certain nights when they come, when they show up, if you could manage to scare off 1, 2 more come. After those run off, they send a demon. I'm not joking. We are not supposed to be here. We are evidence of God. There was something I read when God said, you are my witnesses, meaning, my favorite verse, I called it in my chapter, I called it a love letter from God. I might read it later on today again. They can't see anything, and it doesn't make sense. It will break a person's mind. They're calling us aliens. They're calling us witch hunters. They don't know what to think. This is unnerving, and they can't see anything. So when we say God is real, I think people are confused, but people are at home in a corner when their mind drifts off, like, you know when you have the fork right here and you're about to eat and you freeze because you're thinking somebody has to, I think every single one of them has questioned if God is real. Like, could it be real? But what kind of God? It can't be. It must be some dark underworld thing. It can't be God. It can't be. It's God. It's God. And so if the people who've done all the work can tell you that God is, I mean, I don't know if they're going to say God is real. They might not want to admit that. But this is unexplainable by any other means. The police don't know how we're still here. Not just here, walking free, still walking the streets. How? Real God. Not a lie. Not a made-up story. Real God, not a placebo. The real God. It's easy to say there is no God. So she said, fine. We're going to set it up where there is no help but me. There's nothing else. No help but me. No one can come. And we're talking about an extended period. No 3 months, no 6 months. Years. We're going to keep you in that persecution for years. I'm going to make sure you come out the same way you went in. Better. Stronger. More sure of yourself. You're going to come out with me. And I kid you not, it's unexplainable. How have I not lost my mind? How am I not broke? It's unexplainable. This is just all it was. It's unexplainable. Other than just one way. Nothing else makes sense. They have battled spiritualists before. That is nothing. They battled witches before. That is nothing. What do you mean? Even if we did spell work, they have battled witches before. It's not their first witch. They're getting help from overseas. They have the pockets to get things done. I'm telling you, this is God. That's the point of what she's trying to do, because she understands how human beings are. And everything she does, she puts her sprinkle on it. It's an energetic sprinkle. And you know it's her. Because you're standing there like, she puts something on her work. This is God. Because people on the other side know the sprinkle. You cannot pretend that. When God says, I did it, you can't fabricate illusions like this. Like, you will know as you walk through a situation that this is God. This is not people. This is not spell work. This is not any of that. The kind of things that have been done here, I'm telling you, is not survivable. Very easily and very quickly, they take people down. This is not survivable stuff. There is so much stuff I don't even bother talking about, I swear. It's things I don't bother mentioning. I just don't. But I'm telling you, this is the Most High only. God is very real. That to the point, people think we are walking like entities ourselves. They think that we don't carry an entity, like we are an entity. They think we are the entity. It makes no sense, but let me tell you, God. Everything we learned, we don't even need it. I mean, we should keep it because we're having our spiritual awakening. But we didn't need it. God didn't even need that to do anything that happened here. Creation. She is creation. She is the creation. Like, she's creation. What can she not undo in her own womb? Like, this is a joke. This is nothing. Whatever we've gone through here is nothing. You must understand, please. I've come on here, I've said so much about what I've gone through, that hearing all of this, if a normal person listened to my first video to the last one, they would say, yeah, it is God. What else could it be? It is God. Who and what else could it possibly be? By yourself? No help was ever going to come from anyone. People live in this forever or they die at some point. Like, there is no end to which this would have. There are people that they're walking in their vessels. They're controlling them entirely. This is God. And the most important part, mother. This is our mother. Too long we have gone through sending up prayers to a placebo, and then you're wondering, where's the work? And then you think God's not real. But the truth has just been hidden for so long. So long. And we're finally here, where people are not just getting up and saying, God is a woman, God is mother, God is creation. People are not just saying it. She will prove it, is what she said, because that's how she is. She calculates far beyond. Let me tell you, there's so many signs. Why have I settled into my fight? First of all, the beginning part of it, I'm just not a person who likes to listen to anything, to be honest with you. I'm not a person who takes advice. It doesn't matter how convinced it looks. Like, I'm not taking the advice. I don't care. So in the beginning, it's just because that's how I am. I said no, I meant it. But at a certain point, I settled in. I was like, oh, this is just the path I have to walk. Why? Because she had already made every accommodation for this. She made every accommodation. She sent me to go get that house where I was living. She sends me everywhere. So I just settled in. I was like, everything down to where I live, down to things I purchased years ago, never opened, in the box, brand new, they ended up here. I mean, so many signs. It's like, I feel like a child with her because that's how well taken care of I am at all times. Even though it looks shaky outside, there's just an anchor in me now, whether it's active or not, that always is just like, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing has ever happened. It never will. And no matter what that feeling is, no matter how bad it is, when I saw police were not taking my reports and no one was coming and no one believed me and no one was helping and I was all alone and I was losing things, I still was like, nothing's gonna happen. I'll be fine. And it's true. I am fine. Nothing ever happens. You start settling in to yourself when you're in a situation, you don't get to, it's not like looking out, you don't get to pull back enough to sometimes absorb all of it. But one day you're gonna be laying somewhere absorbing this and you're gonna get up from laying down and be like, wait a minute, what what did I go through? What? That's how I feel. I sit back and I think about it and I'm like, what? Followed everywhere, hacked on everything, spiritualists, overseas, some of the most crazy countries for voodoo or for black magic. Mexico, Haiti, Nigeria, a whole coven. It's crazy. They have people at the bank. They have people at what? And the spell work round the clock every day for like I think I'm almost at 1,000 days of spell work now every day, including today. You get used to it. It's a crazy thing to say, but you get used to it. But I think about it and I'm like, it's only God. There's no other explanation. It's only God, and it's very shocking. And I feel honored, to be honest, that God would think me. I wouldn't have thought me. I'm stronger now. I've always been strong to some degree, but I have gotten so strong now. Like, I don't think I'm afraid of anything, honestly. I really feel like I can handle anything at this point. You know, it's something that strengthens you, and I think that was the purpose of her doing this, is saying, that's lovely, it's time to grow up, let's get you strong, because you don't know what we're gonna face out there. Well, she knows what we're gonna face. I have confidence it's gonna be hard, some of it, but the difference is now I know what I used to have a feeling about. Now I know for sure that there is no energy stronger than her. There's nothing stronger than her. I feel very confident to walk through life with this energy. Are you kidding me? Of course she's going to be death, because she's life. Something has to die for something to live. Why are we afraid of death? Who is going to escape it? Who is not afraid of death? So I know the truth can be a bit shocking. It can. Like, it seems too dark. The church watered everything down so that people cannot have freedom. So things like this can occur. That's why they watered it down. That's why they lied. So they could do spell work. They could tap into the spirit. What we call spell work is just touching the sky or the underworld, wherever people choose. But Christians, early Christians practice magic. And when you combine God with magic, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. And some parts of this are shocking, that God dwells both in heaven and in the underworld. We weren't told about that. We thought it was only in heaven, but they were talking about God the Father. God the Father does not move up from his place. He doesn't. He does not leave his throne. He doesn't have to. But Mother is queen of everything. She's queen of everywhere. She presides everywhere. So if you are going through hell, you do not have to go through that alone. She will walk with you, hand in hand, always present. She is lovely. She is lovely. She's a lovely, I want to say human being all the time, as if she's a person, but that's how I see her. That's how I feel her. Is without a body. Very warm, very lovely, amazing. And I feel like, even if she didn't ask, but for me, I just know, going through this situation, that I have to tell everybody that God exists. I have to. Even if it weren't my calling, it would become, because it's like, this cannot be kept quiet. There's no way that we should be, what's the word, gatekeeping this information, because that's what people would do, is people would want to keep everything for themselves, and they walk around like, I am all powerful. This is not what this is about. This is about making sure that people know who to call in an emergency situation, what to do, how to get started, because this is worse than an emergency situation right here. If they can cast illusions to make you think you're talking to God, they can do a lot. Okay? Like, it's a lot. These are people who sit down and like have group sessions, like with no limits to whatever the plan can be. I'm telling you, they're taking risks right now. So, well, they have been for, anyway. I think everybody needs to know who to walk with and how to walk. Not the watered down. The Bible isn't even that watered down either. The Bible is kind of out there with it. They'll tell you. The Bible will literally tell you, like, there was one thing I read, and it's talked about, write all these things in a book, read it, bind it up, like tie it up with thread, and throw it at their feet. I'm like, sounds like you're sending work. This is like crazy work. Because why did God say, write all these evil things in a scroll, bind it up, and send it at their feet, and do as I said? I have to find that scripture again. Because I know I said in the video, I was like, that sounds like magic to me. I mean, that was magic. Like, not that, that was magic. So, I'm just saying, they talk about sacrifices, they talk about shedding blood in rituals, they talk about all kinds of things. Lighting the candles, giving the offerings, lighting the incense, all of the above. Worshipping at your altar, all of the above. They talk about all of it. So, it's not like the magic was ever hidden, but they have misrepresented a very powerful figure. From where God is, it's not the same sort of help and assistance as when Mother is here with you. It is not nearly the same thing. It's not even close. Because she needs to be ever present, ever vigilant with you. and make sure that you believe that she's there, because your belief matters. That's what we're talking about tonight. Your belief. Your belief matters. That's why people could not attack anything else, and the last resort is your belief. God's never going to let go of you. They can't tell God to let go of you, so they got to tell you to let go of God. That's what this was about. You doubting God, and then after they put the ritual on you, and then you're laying there and you're wondering, like, is God? No, that's spell work. Put a crystal on your head immediately, cleanse, do a whole, cleanse everything. That's a ritual. Crazy. So, I want to confirm that this newfound doubt, it's natural to have the doubt. It's natural, either way, to be like, wait, how long was I going through this? This newfound doubt is due to two things. One is spell work. That's a domination spell. That's a domination spell. They put you under a domination spell. Now it broke. When spell work breaks, it's not like just like an action got overturned. When spell work breaks, energy has to go somewhere. This is not somebody doing rituals on anyone. It has to go somewhere. It cannot stay. So, somebody had you under a domination spell where they were playing God in your life for a little bit. And you didn't catch on right away. But you did. Or you were told, or whatever. However God worked it out. And because of that, it broke. You don't want to talk to this party. You don't want to hear anything from them. You disrespect them. You don't like them. You think they're the most heinous thing that exists and have tried to interfere in such a relationship. And now you can see the effects of the magic going back. Well, I can. Sometimes, whether we know or not, when God blocks work from us, it has to go somewhere. And that's the truth. And sometimes people think that we don't know. Well, some of us don't, because how the heck are we going to just know stuff like that out of thin air? But some of us do know. We do know what's going on. And, you know, doing domination. Maybe people just don't believe in God. I don't know what to say, because I think it's brazen. I think it was crazy. Anyways, the first thing is because it's spell work. And the second thing, it's because the end is close. And I mean like here. The end is here. It's here now. It's here now. God is about to do her big one. It's here. And not just that, I think those of us who have fully, completely woken up are everybody's worst nightmare. And I see why. I see why they didn't want that to happen. I literally understand. It's a little fearsome. People that spell work doesn't work on at all. It's a little unnerving. More than, it's scary. It's scary. But we are here to do a job. And because of the nature of that job, see, Mother thinks differently. Because of the nature of the job, we need to be protected. We need to be able to handle ourselves, and people need to second guess. You know, even if they do it after they second guess, but they need to like not just jump head first to like do crazy things, you know. So it's not gonna be cannot live under fear of death all the time. Cannot live like with this kind of spell work and illusions and attacks all the time. It's unhealthy. So we needed to be strong for what we're going into, because we're bringing the world a message that they have never heard anything like this. For this to try to go mainstream, what is this? Okay, you're saying that God's a woman. That's a lot. It's a lot. It's very different. Now you're saying she's deaf and she's a skeleton in a black. That's a lot. It's a cult. What is this? That's what they're gonna say. And that's how they're going to treat us. That's why she had to come with proof. Can't just come out with a message like this and we're trying to open people's eyes so that they can be saved. They too can be saved. That is why it was important for us to suffer it ourselves. If you don't taste the risk, you will think that people are crazy. You will. Everything those people say happens to them has happened to them. We've been spared because we didn't have to suffer. It wasn't meant for suffering. It was meant for learning, to have compassion on people, to understand people, even the bad ones, even the ones that gang stalk, even the ones that work against people. They're not just being bullied by being followed. They're having spell work. They're having people walk into their home, physically put hands on them. And from the spirit. I mean, you could feel someone put their hands on you. And there's nothing there. So please understand sometimes when people do things, it's not just they're having demons put on them, domination spell, voices in their head, round the clock, round the clock, round the clock. I had to master learning how to not hear it. And the longer you go not hearing it, the more you don't hear it. Eventually it's going to fizzle. You don't want that channel, that's all. I want to tell you, we are not here just for any old kind of mission. We are here because people are suffering. They're in it right now. They didn't have the help that we had. Wasn't this rough with the help? Yeah. You had to taste it. I had to taste raw spell. So, this is why it's important to be strong. Because you're trying to save people from people who do spell work, that spell is going to keep coming. I know, people said I was a bit masculine, and a bit rough, and a bit all of this. I was fighting a man in the spirit. I don't know, you gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. This is an important mission. This is not, this is critical. People are depending on people like us. We are the only hope. A real hope, a real solution. We are the only ones. People can't do this. They need a real God. They need to be taught the way. They need a light in the darkness. That makes you a target. You need to have a strong stomach. You need to be able to go through things over an extended period of time. You need to be always on your feet, always alert, expecting new things. That's the job. That's why we pledge. I give you another day, another lifetime, leading to an eternity in service to the crown. That's why it sounds like that, as extreme like that. In the length of time shows the devotion and the loyalty. You say I give you another day, it's indicative of how hard the battle is. That I can just promise you one more day, and I'm invoking that energy out of myself. I give you another day, and you know you're going to give it every day, so you say leading to another lifetime. That means we kept coming here. That's a devotion. Leading to an eternity. It means that I have no concern for myself when it comes to you. That is 100% total devotion. That I castrate myself on your behalf. So I have no personal desires. Just whatever you need in service to the crown. That is a promise. And that is a promise no matter what happens. No matter what happens. That's how it goes. That's what it is. That's the job. some people do not understand that because people don't know what loyalty is. Loyalty always seems like something you give. It seems like it's taken from you. But do you understand what you had to get to give loyalty like that? Think about a relationship. I always think about it this way. Think about a relationship where the man is loyal. Not the woman, we can maybe be like, oh, you're lucky, you got like a loyal wife. But when the man is loyal, you're like, what is going on in the house? That he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't want to talk to nobody, he's cold with people, like what's going on? That is because whatever you receive makes you say, there is nothing else I need. I am complete. I'm good. I don't even want to step outside of this very peaceful, happy box. And this is why, I don't know, as for me, I think it's guaranteed. I think they wake up every morning, they're like, yeah, you already know. Nothing's changed. She's still, because I am loyal. And to me, I think loyalty means to the death. That's what I think it means. Because when does loyalty break? If it can break, it's not loyalty. So when I say loyalty, I really mean to like lights out. Very, very, very serious. Okay, if my no is serious, my loyalty is worse. So when I say this is what you need to work for God, people think it's just about gifts and protection and all of it. No. This is what it's about. This is a real joy in it. This is a real pride in it, to be honest with you. Because this is evidence of who she is. To know her is to love her. Look at people that love, people will call it a street culture and a street game. And I don't know. But all I'm saying is, the way people love Santa Muerte, they defend her. Okay? No, go anywhere and read anything about her, listen to anything about her, and the person talking, you can tell their loyalty and devotion to her already. They're already like, you can tell in their demeanor, the way that they speak, that they do not accept anything negative about her. Very defensive of her. This is a sacred quality. This is a special quality in the human-God relationship. When you as the person care about God, like want to take care of God as well, it says a lot. It's like not just worship because there's a separation. I'm talking about worship because you genuinely love God. Like genuinely. Not just God loves you, like you love God back. This is a very, I can't even say it. I just feel like everybody should have this because it's not fake. And if it were fake, people would laugh at you and bind you already. They wouldn't still be fighting you this long. And anybody looking at me, I've been on camera so long, coming every day saying these kind of things. Obviously, like, these people can't get me off of here. And believe me, they try. They try everything that they can, every single day. I trigger them when this camera comes on. As soon as they see this live, I know people get like the runs. You don't know what I'm gonna say. But I'm just gonna say this. Listen. I have to spend the rest of my life talking about her. I need people to know the truth, honestly. If I hadn't gone through this, I wouldn't have made it such a mission in my life. And this is a huge problem. This is something that I called insurmountable. No one person can do this. A group coming up against the police don't even try. Because how many people are in the police station? 50? They have enough to get stop all 50 at the same time. That's what they do. No one person can go through this. And calling on anything that is not her is a waste of time, because they will keep escalating and escalating and escalating until God starts to step through. God lets you show your strength. They will keep escalating it. They will find bigger and worse things, and they will just keep going. So because of that, you cannot, there's so many reasons you cannot do this on your own. I don't know what to say. There are too many. As I keep seeing more and more things, I'm like, yeah. I look at things differently now. If I were to go somewhere and it's someone's job to do something and their voice is shaking on the phone and they're being, not helpful, I'm like, you know what, just have a good day. Because I know it's not their fault. I know what they're probably, they're being followed everywhere now. I know it's probably going on. So I can't even judge you just don't even really know anymore. So I'll see this. We need God, because the illusions that are painted here are just, they go the extra mile to do this. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of illusions. As we pull our attention from this drama, people get desperate because it's coming to the end. Nothing works without our attention or our participation. If someone is trying to talk into your head all day long and they're like, hello, 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 and you're not responding, they're going to get tired. If people are saying things at you all day but you can't hear it, it has no effect on you. You get to walk peacefully around. So when you pull your attention away from the voice, V2K is the strongest, is one of the, it's a test of mental fortitude, I tell you, because it's on the inside. You gotta pull your attention away from it. It's a task. Meditation will help. You gotta meditate. You gotta learn to quiet your mind and shut it down and all that. Voices inside your head is crazy, I'm telling you. It's no good. So if people carry entities that are loud, that are talkative, I can only imagine, that's not a gentle ride at all. As long as for some people it might be a fight, but I think by the time you get here, you're so tired of this, that focus is the least of your worries. You will focus and you will get it done. So we have to pull our participation and attention away, and I mean in every single way, shape, or form. Forget about them completely. That's the objective. Forget they exist. That means walking past them like you're the ghost. Not looking in anybody's eyes, not participating. Like, you gotta pull out and pull out now. Pull your participation. No matter how many times you gotta restart, do it right away. Do not beat yourself up for an hour. Don't feel like you're not perfect. No. Right away. You break focus, right back. You break focus, right back. Very strict with yourself, so that you keep up that habit of pulling yourself back until you slip less and less and less. And one day, you're far off in the distance. You don't even remember you've been gang stalked. Whatever God is going to do after, God's going to do after. But energetically, we got to get out of here. It's unhealthy. You lose your mind. They're going to keep coming with new things. Cannot stay here. This is a level of toxicity that is too much. It's too toxic here. And people lose their minds here if they stay too long. It's time to go. The last two lessons are ones to get good at. The last two. Going ghost on people. Simply drop it forever. Is that a decision? Yes. Does that take time? No. I'm done with this. I drop this. I'm done forever. And move on with your life. Never look back. You do not need any more attention, no matter what. And I really mean it. That's what I do. Anytime I slip, I pull back. If I'm halfway through a sentence, I pull back. If I start, I pull back, I pull back, I pull back. I don't get caught in it. Now I don't even start. It doesn't even start for me. Like the minute we're done, I'm focused again. I don't like, you gotta keep practicing, practice your focus, practice your meditation, practice getting good at, cleaning up your space and cleaning yourself, practice noticing yourself when things are off about you so that you can do the necessary work to pull yourself back. And number 2, so the first thing you want to get good at is boasting, and then number 2, practice hope. Practice the feeling of hope from wherever you are, being hopeful of not just little things but big things. That's why you manifest. That's why you dream about the future. That's why you fantasize about things. So fantasize about the future and raise your mood from hope to being sure. When you get to that place where you're sure you're getting out, you're sure your life is going to be amazing. I mean, if God rescued you from this, what is there to go get you some things, some presents, some thank you presents for staying so long, never doubting, never giving up? There must be something for that, right? Because it's a huge job. It's a huge job that's going to take a lot out of you. Maybe they want you comfortable. They want you happy. So, at this time, pray every day with your whole heart. I know you're apprehensive. Pray every day with your whole heart. Get back to your good-hearted self. Keep boundaries in place because you needed them to get out of here. And continue to settle your mind with meditation. Even though the degrees to which you can go at a certain point, you don't want to go that far at a certain point. If this is a future message, I hope it's for the tarot readers because they're under domination spells for sure. They are. They don't even know what's going on. They're under domination. Take more time to accomplish things moving forward. Slow down to look both ways. You're not going to get a trophy for putting a business up in a year. Okay? You need a safe business so you don't end up back there under these illusions that society believes. Bank stock is not the only big dirty thing. There's more. If there's this, there's more. There's different levels to this one even. Slow down to look both ways. Review things closely. Think things through. Rushing makes you miss details. Remind yourself there is no urgency. You've become accustomed to rushing to beat people from ruining your plans, racing ahead. If you have to go somewhere and get something, you better go really quick before they catch up with you, so you can have a moment of peace. Things like that. You gotta slow yourself down when your heart starts racing and they're breathing that anxiety and they're putting that pressure because they can hear your thoughts, they know what you're thinking. You gotta pull yourself back and slow yourself down, walk slower, with purpose, drive slower, take your time to get where you have to go. Things of that nature. Read through contracts twice. Decide who you're going to work with. Think about how things can go wrong. Think ahead. Study people. Study situations. Reflect on yourself. Reflect on others. Try to keep mastering yourself, etc., etc. But slow down. Because rushing has caused us to miss things or to pass things off as a coincidence. Today, we are allowing plans to be ruined. When they're racing you to get to the store first or to get to wherever you are first, let them, and you slow down. Let the plan be ruined. You must remember, God is in control. God is in control here. Because God is in control, we don't have to worry about things like that. God has the situation under hand. It may seem like it's out of control, but God is saying, let them ruin things, let them take things, let them beat you down, let all of this happen. She knows why. She knows why. So every single time I had something in mind to do and it got blocked, the times where I was actually in alignment and I said, okay, well, I'm not going to do it then. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just not going to do it. Every single time one of those things happened, I was walked down a better path. It was like, hey, you forgot about that. Hey, you missed that. Had that not happened, and this has been the entire time moving forward. So we let them ruin things. God has never failed us, and you still standing is even evidence of that. When you are blocked, go another way, and if there is no other way, put it down. If it was meant to happen, it would. This is the path of least resistance, or allowing, just allowing things to go the way they're going to go. It's the path of allowing. It's never failed myself personally yet. Actually, that's always the time when I was on course. It's when I try to correct, that I got to take a longer route. God has never let us down. Whatever interference you feel is temporary. Interference in your relationship with God, people talking over God, that's temporary. We are on the cusp of enjoying our gods once more. Keep your loyalty, keep your loyalty, keep your faith and your loyalty to our Holy Mother. She has taken care of us through trials unseen, trials that people haven't seen. Keep God in your heart and separate God from voices that I'm sure now have turned abusive and shown their true face. I know mine has. She's gone rogue. She speaks horribly now. But it's good that it's confirmed, right? Like, undeniably confirmed. There is no question. There is no other domination spell that can work. It's been exposed. Keep your altar tended. Keep your heart clean. Keep focused on your goals and nothing else. No drama in any part of your life. Peace only, to focus on your work, yourself, and this forward that's coming here. You need focus for that. Our gods and ancestors have been faithful through what I would call very mildly a storm. A storm is business not performing well. This is a firestorm. We're in the middle of a firestorm. We navigated our way out of the center of a field in a fire. Like, that's how I see it. We had to run through fire a couple of times. Where am I? May we never reward their faithfulness with doubt or belief or disbelief. Because flesh and blood did not get you through this. There was no other human being here. You had no friends. There was no one. I'm telling you. This was God and God alone. If we truly did not have God, the way we would be suffering under night and day spell work. And normal people go through this and never think to themselves, let me say a prayer. Maybe some people might pray, but let me light an altar. Let me seek alternative spiritual practices or something, like nothing. So people just literally suffer the rest of their life under spell work. May we never reward their faithfulness with doubt or disbelief. Faith in trying times is a pride to God. That brings honor to God when people stay in a fight on God's account, in God's name, publicly suffering for God. It tells you a lot about God, who God is, how good has God been to you that you would go through all of this. You may want to take a step back to consider what's real and what's not, but let me assure you, God lives inside of you. God has to be on the inside to handle these attacks. They're sending entities. They're doing rituals on you all night long. They're preying on your head all night long from different directions. They're coming in and out of the house. They're walking all over your bed as you sleep. It's not a joke. These people are coming through protection work. They don't care about salt. They don't care about camphor. They don't care about anything. They don't care. So God has to be on the inside, because when these things come in, it's like, it's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of them. God's voice is your voice. If God lives inside of you, let me explain something to you. When you carry an energy and you bond with the energy, right? You see people possessed. Look in think about movies where it's like a horror movie and the person's possessed. How does the demon speak? Through their mouth. Through their mouth. The demon doesn't pop out and have its own voice. It speaks as them. That's how possession works. That's how carrying works. The voice that you hear, or the voices, those are other witches. You could do that to people as well. You could talk to people as well. When you talk, they hear you. You guys are having a conversation. So that's telepathy. There's no machine. That is not how, maybe possession to dark entities, I guess, works like that. I'm not sure. When you carry a spirit, the spirit just speaks through you. That's the point of carrying. You're also in the vessel. Do you speak? I mean, we can speak in our head, yes. But are you a foreign entity speaking in your head, or are you not aware that you're the one speaking? So when God speaks, it sounds like it's you speaking. It's you thinking it. You and God are together, fused. That's why you don't need a voice. You don't need premonitions, and you don't, like, God will do that still, I guess. I'm not saying God's going to take it away, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying in times when it's dark, you don't need to worry about anything. No matter how crazy it is, you don't need to worry about anything. Literally, because you're walking as, or God's walking as you. Better yet, God is walking around as you. If it were one of those entities that these people serve, the entity is walking around as them, inside of them, looking through their eyes, talking through their mouth, revealing things, giving them gifts and abilities, special talents. Same thing. So, this is what I'm trying to say. Don't just allow people to show up in your head that you wouldn't allow to just call you. Get rid of those voices immediately. They're casting spells. This is ritual work that they're getting in contact with you directly to do. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them at all. Now we can finally confirm what communication with God feels like and what is real, so we don't have another one of these things happen. Because if one witch does it, it means it's a system somewhere. They must have some society that they're a part of that gives out how to do things like this. That's the only thing I could think. Because If one can do it, there's others that can do it. Never rely on anything outside of yourself to that degree again. Not that you're not going to rely on people outside of yourself. You're going to have family and, I mean, moving forward, I guess, associate with people, but not to that degree that you would listen that much. God is inside of you. Every decision that you've made has been on an instinct, a gut feeling, a something, and, it wouldn't start now that you need help from outside. So, never give your life in the hands of anything not sanctioned by God. Like that. No. In this place, us who can trust, hold on. In this place, who we can trust, we feel that we can trust them 100%. There's no doubts. It's a very strong feeling. And then even 0.1% doubt means something is wrong. This is an unhealthy environment. A little bit of doubt is already too much. Let me assure you of magic, the same way I assured you of God. What you ignore disappears. I call this alchemy, and somebody's going to tell me I might be wrong about, but this is what I think of as alchemy. Alchemy is shifting energy. Oh, my mic has been low, but do your best. It's the best. This is the closest I can get to the camera. If you feel even half a percentage of doubt, like a very weak doubt when dealing with someone, walk away. Don't entertain anything. Use your instincts, your guts, your everything all together, your brain, your common sense, and trust that God is with you. Let me assure you that if you ignore a lot of this, it does disappear. What you ignore disappears, even oppressive witches. Anyone fighting you needs a reaction to keep it going. It's been a tough lesson, but when I myself, I'm personally happy I learned this and I broke out of it. Domination is crazy. You don't actually, you really believe that illusion. You have gut feelings throughout and odd things, but it's like you don't react as quickly as you normally would. All the cleansing work and spiritual eye-opening has been amazing to learn, and those are lessons that we should keep and never let those lessons go and integrate into our life and our lifestyle, especially when you have your altar. When you put your Santa Muerte altar together, you don't take it down. It's for life. And I would further say that it's an altar that you inherit, so kids can inherit your altar as well, so that the fire never goes out, the candle never goes out, not one day. Sorry. All the cleansing work and spiritual eye-opening has been amazing to learn. I think people will definitely start calling you a witch when you're not even doing what they do, but you're protecting yourself in the way that they're sending all this horrible work. But I don't know, for everybody, I am of the light. We are of the light. People who work for God are of the light, because God does not tolerate any of this kind of behavior. And I think that people are surprised to know that the light also knows magic. We've been underestimated. God has been doubted. And we stand victorious with our gods who saw us through. I hope you are pledging to God every day to give another day to him and her. Not just our love, adoration, and faith, but our trust, effort, and strength. You may doubt who you were talking to, but you cannot deny you are still alive, and a whole lot of dark work was sent your way. You can't deny God took bindings off of you. You cannot deny that God took bindings, because you know what it felt like when you were binded. When that binding came off, oh my God, it was like one of the happiest days. Like, I prayed over that so long. that sweet release when a binding comes off. And if you know you were binded, trust me, people never get out of that. That's why God is needed here. People never get out of that. God walks you through these things. You cannot deny God answered your prayers. Like, it's without a doubt. You can't deny that God healed you. You can't deny that God brought your enemies down, and it wasn't even by your hand. People cannot arguably say it was just you. There's no way. So please relax. It's normal to feel apprehensive. It is normal. Please go cleanse and keep in prayer and continue to be grateful. Once you stop reacting to and noticing the spell work and those who cast it, their power diminishes, their magic diminishes, and you allow yourself to return back to the feeling of normal, feeling back down to earth. Spells loose off of you, and you will be able to see and think clearly and ask the universe, or assist the universe in guiding you towards your true life purpose. Tips: remain unreachable. Isolation is your biggest protection here. Not biggest, I'd say second biggest. Nothing's bigger than God. But isolation saves you from problems unknown. No access. Don't take signs of advice from ads on your phone. So you see an ad on your phone, you're like, oh, that must be an advice from God. No, just don't. Just everything comes from within. Use your crystals more, because sometimes we slack off on things that we have, but they're there for a reason. So use your crystals more. Use your magic, and don't be afraid to research what you don't know. The help is there for a reason. I make content, I put it on Google for anybody who needs it or comes across it, can look it up. And I do that because I'm helping with my knowledge, and that's what other people are doing when they put up content online that can teach us. They're going out of their way. So it's there for a reason. I would look into it. Lastly, everything takes practice. So pressure on yourself and guilt just brings your mood down. You're just feeling bad about yourself. Why? You're learning. This is tough. This is not easy. Your only job is to be happy. Like, literally, your only job is to be happy so you can feel happy. That's it. Be happy. Get back happy, get back hopeful, get back in alignment with God. Don't listen to your voice. Get back in alignment. How can God talk to you in your head when God is walking inside of you? It's you who would have to talk to you to talk to God. If you want to hear a voice, it would be your voice. So that's good news. That is good news. People going through V2K are going through, or what they call V2K. It's just witches abusing you because you're telepathic and you don't know. But I had to save this to the end because this was very fulfilling to read. So this is Hebrews chapter 11. It says, now it just starts out strong. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the evidence of things you can't see. So when God says, you have this right now, I'll give you an example. God spent the entire time saying, you're free, this is over. And I'm like, it's not over, it's still going. A year later, excuse me, it's still going. I'm like, it's not over, it's still going. And when I finally got here, I was like, oh my God. And my head was like, well, why, oh my God? Like, you knew you were going to get through it. But it's just so magical to see it all come together because the situation looked so hopeless. So I literally, I don't know. Essentially, what God is saying is that you coming out of this situation, you already have it. And you'll say, well, I don't have evidence. And God's like, your faith is the evidence. You believe in it, that's why. So anything I believe in happens, yes. Yes. Anything you believe in happens. So if I believe I'm getting stalked, then it happens in a bigger way in your conscious awareness. It is happening either way, but in your conscious awareness is your reality. So if you are consciously aware of gang stalkers in your reality, they are everywhere. When you take your attention away from them, they're nowhere. Because you made a habit of not noticing people like that, not paying attention, not responding, not caring, not mentioning, not thinking, not noticing. And so whether or not the gang stalking is happening, you go back to the beginning when you didn't know it was happening. You think back to the times before when gang stalking behavior was happening, but you didn't notice. So essentially it wasn't happening because you didn't believe. You didn't see. But as soon as you believe it, you pay attention to it, you start invoking it in, you bring it in with your belief. So you have to go back to when you didn't know. Go back to when you didn't notice, when everything was a coincidence. Oh, that's strange. Oh, who would have thought that? And just go back. Whether it is an issue or not, if it's illegal, they have to fix it. You know, because they have to hide their hands. They can't like blatantly do stuff. But at the same time, you know, balance with the situation. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. By their faith the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. Wow. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and he was not found because God had translated him. For before his translation he had his testimony that he pleased God. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. I have this is verse 6, I have it highlighted. But without faith it is impossible, and I'm going to change him to her. But without faith it is impossible to please her. For he or she that cometh to God must believe that she is. You have to actually believe that she is God. and that she is a rewarder of them that diligently seek her. She rewards you for diligence, not like in heaven now. Now, right at the end. Everything is planned meticulously to the letter. Now, because what you went through for me, I appreciate it. Why do you think people love her so much? Oh my goodness. And she moves fast. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet. Noah being warned by God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive, he was called to go into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out not knowing whither he went, meaning he didn't even know where he was going to go. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, to get pregnant, conceive seed. And where am I? And was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. I'm going to end here because I've been on for more than an hour, and I'm going to maybe do the second half of this another day. But I just wanted to read about faith, because faith is about faith, loyalty, service. It comes down to in any condition. And I'm sorry, my lip gloss got dry. Anyway, faith is about holding on to a promise in rough conditions. Holding on during rough conditions. That's what faith is about. Any condition. And then on top of it, I think those of us who go through this and we've had the extreme good fortune of God being with us, I think for us even more, it's important to hold on, because I know that God didn't just do this for no reason. There are other people who do not know what you know, and they need to hear, and they need help. So the reason we were here was to do something extremely important, and I didn't know what it was, and I figured it out. We need to abolish gang stalking, first of all. That's the first thing that needs to happen. Gang stalking needs to be abolished. Like, you know what abolished means? Never to be done ever again. This is the modern day slavery. And when they write about it, and they write all the articles, and they pick it apart, for a long time to come, it will be in the history books. It will be in the history books about what gang stalking is. In full, the spiritual work needs to be addressed. It will be proven that there's no such thing as V2K or any of the machines. That it's done, because some of these witches will admit, they will come out, they will say that they did rituals. They will. Because that will be admitting and getting ahead of the storm will be better than to be known as that's like being known as a slave owner. Imagine if like you never find descendants of slave owners, eh? Like you'll find this people will proudly say I was a descendant of a slave, but I don't think I've ever heard someone say my grandfather was a slave owner. That's how horrid it is. So this is what's gonna happen because it has to. Because this cannot ever, ever, ever go on again. This is horrible. This is horrible. This is crazy. This is what God's here for. People have suffered and cried over these situations. No, this is unbearable. This is unbearable. This is happening with people all over the world. All parts of the world are being spiritually persecuted because God knows one person in one place cannot do this entire job. There are people who have popped up everywhere, and they know that. That's why we're being persecuted. That's why they're trying to sacrifice us to demons. That's why they're trying to get us to worship demons, to like break us away from God. So this is what this was about, blocking God's word from coming out, us telling people. And how do we tell people? Through having churches, each one of us, to speak about God, to tell people the truth, to show people the way, what you went through, to validate what they're going through, to bring more light to these situations, to talk about these situations, the things that happen here. Even the things that happen in the flesh are so mind-blowing that you wonder, have you stepped into a different world? So it can't go on. It can't go on. And I know this is what Mother is here for. She puts a death to things, I mean, as the name suggests. But it's holy death. It's holy death. Things need to stop. Things need to stop. Like, the gang stalking thing is, I don't even know what to say about it, but it does need to stop. And, like, this is God's fight, is how I see it. It's God's fight. Because God is fighting behind the scenes for us, on our behalf. But this is God's fight. This is God's fight. This is the last of what I have to say. If anybody is going through V2K or has gone through, I think when you're you have spiritual gifts, they don't just do V2K just to drive you crazy. I think they also try to recruit you into their covens too. If they cannot, for lack of a better words, like KILLU, they will try to recruit you into their coven. Like, that's really what they're trying to do, and they do the domination and all of that kind of stuff. Like, so that's all I'm saying. These people are not okay at all. And yeah, people need to be rescued here. Like, for sure. There's demonic activity here. That's another way of looking at it, of why we're here. These energies are not supposed to be here like this. Like, this is not supposed to be happening at all. So anyway, that is my message tonight. I hope somebody somewhere feels encouraged. Have faith in your situation. Have faith in God. I don't know who anybody prays to, but I am talking about Santa Muerte. She is our mother. She is, to me, the mother of the universe is her. She's proven that to me. And so I'm hoping that she can prove that to other people as well who are in a tough spot, who can feel her love. You need her mother's love right now. You need baby gloves right now, not anything but. You're going through a lot. You need personal care through this as you're guided out of it, because you need to be guided out. Like, it's not one of those poof situations. You need to have strength to be guided out. So once we get out, you'll know. and it's incremental. Little by little, things stop, things slow down, they fizzle, and you know something big is coming. You can feel it, that something is gonna break, and that's why you're under the attack that you are. People who are just starting their journey, like, I don't know what to say, buckle up, because it may be a while, just being honest. But it's important not just to pray, but who you pray to is more important than saying a prayer. And you need to carry this energy. You don't need to just pray. You need to carry the energy, and then you need to learn how to defend yourself. That's the key. So anyway, thank you and have a good evening.